Well, first of all, the reason why we sold off residential is, as I mentioned, if we're not buying, we are selling. So and the residential markets were peaking, especially in our segment where we are managing opportunistic investments to value add or whatever you call it or whatever that is from a definition perspective. But they were managed out from our perspective. The prices were high, and that was the reason why we sold to some of the listed companies in Germany that are gathering residential stock over the last 18 months. That was the reason why we sold off the residential stuff, and we are invested. We had a 15, 20, 25% stake in one of the big operators in the student housing 6 years ago. So we were kind of early mover in that segment. We were always interested in this one. We had a look at the UK. It's an extremely mature market, and back then, in 5-6 years, the German or Central European student housing or accommodation market was simply not there. It was dominated by public authorities or churches or whatever, but there was no affordable but modern housing for student accommodation. That's number one. Secondly, we truly believe that one of the top 10 topics for Europe within the next 30-40 years will be the quality of education. So are we able to qualify our young people to get the best brains in Europe, because we cannot compete in many other things with the Chinese or Asian countries. That's one thing. The second thing is we believe that we will have more best quality universities in Europe and less total number of universities. So that's why our strategy is focusing on these universities that are already listed in the top 400 and that are able to be winners in that fight of the best quality universities within Europe. And alongside that strategy, we were building up our investment philosophy, and we're taking the unique platform, which is operating 3,500 beds. We took them in a squeeze out private, and this is now our in-house operating business, because what we perfectly learned is many people think that student housing is just another way of residential, which is not the case. It's quite similar, but you need to have an operating platform and operational expertise that is closer to the hotel segment maybe than to the residential. This is what we believe, and we invest in university cities that we do believe will win this fight for the best quality universities in Europe. And we see them in Germany and Austria. We see them in Madrid and Barcelona as well. And maybe the last point about the strategy is that as the numbers of international students coming from abroad into European education is increasing, the shortage of student accommodation, of modern student accommodation, is increasing, and that's something that we buy into as an investment idea.